And again, this is again based, for the new guys, for the new betters, and maybe for some of you that have been betting for a while. Like I'm not sure what sites you use and stuff, but if someone's starting out and they're asking me where you should start, I always tell you to start with the basics, start with the Bible, and what we used to call the Bible back in the day, the first time I heard about it, and that was covers.com. Covers is free. Covers is a great site, especially for a new guy to go to start, analyzing games. It has, a nice general preview of the game. It goes along with a lot of different trends. Yeah, a lot of those trends you got to take with a grain of salt, and that's a spot and a topic that we're going to talk about next time on our next workshop on like what stats are really worth following, and all stats are not created equal. But Covers is a good way to start. Covers is a good site. Covers is just I think is and like I said again, it's free. I think you get a lot of basic good information out of there, and even a little bit more in depth. They got better at it. They do give you the weather. There's one thing I like about Covers, and if you go on their website and you go all the way to the right, there's an arrow, and if you go down you scroll down on that arrow, it tells you about league statistics, league trends, records and all that stuff. But it says print sheets, and when it comes to baseball, it lists all the games, all the pitches, and it gives you their season stats, their ERA, their WHIP, how many Ks they have, things like that, how many days rest they're on, and then they do the last three, which I like because I like seeing what a pitch has done in his last three starts compared to what he's done throughout the whole season, things like that. So Covers is good. It's called print sheets. Like I said, it's all the way at the end. There's an arrow, scroll down. It's good. It helps you out a lot with the pitches. It doesn't stay up so much. It's like free site, so you're not going to get a lot of the up-to-date stuff, which is a little bit of an issue with pitchers because if those late pitching change, they don't catch it a lot of times. And a lot of sites don't catch it a lot of times. But Covers is one that I like. Covers is one I think that is a good site for especially a novice, somebody new starting out should really check out. DJ, what do you think? I know you know about Covers, and it's been around for a while. You're on mute.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
absolutely. I know plenty about Covers, but I tell you guys this point right here. I heard once before. I believe it was Quincy Jones told Alicia Keys when she was a really young child. They brought Alicia Keys to Quincy Jones, and they asked her like, what could she do to become a star? What could she do? And Quincy Jones advised her that she should go out and mimic at least five quality artists or whatever in the past, and come up with her own vibe from there. And when it comes to research, you have to try anything once, right? You're gonna hear all kinds of stuff, and then you're gonna find the sites that are more comfortable for you, more geared towards the information you need get to right away when you can get to it. So I definitely Covers, like you said, it's kind of like the Bibles because many cappers use it. They give a breakdown, they give trends, they give
It's good for a
they
new
give
guys. Good for a new
yeah,
better
they,
for
they give
sure.
you everything you need, right? But if you can break ESPN down and get some good information out of ESPN,
Yeah, no, there's a
um,
bunch of sites. Right, right.
yeah, ESPN's is connected to Team Rankings. Team Rankings is a good site that you can go to and get some stats and stuff like that. And it's all how you use it because Team Rankings is very vogue. You have to go in and find that kind of stuff. And there's some other stuff that some of these other cappers use. I can't remember the names because I tried them once or twice. They didn't really fit my needs. So I do what I do best. And for me, in different sports, I use different sites.
Right.
So for baseball, for sure, I use Covers, but for football, not as much. So it all matters in that type of stuff when it comes down to where you're going to start your research. But you have to just nick at it and go through it, and then you have to develop. What are you capping? Okay, so what are you doing? Like, are you looking for rushing yards? Are you looking for rushing attempts? Are you weighing the pass versus the run? There's all kinds of stats that you could use as edges to cap. So different stats, different sites have different stats. So because at one point in time, I have Dom seen it before. I have a sheet that I have that basically has every stat that I consider valuable in college football. Split. One team on each side, same ones. And in order to fill in my sheet, at one point in time, I had to go through like 3 to 4 websites to get this stat. This one only has this. How many team sacks? This one has team sacks. This one has this, and I would put it all together. But through dealing with the different sites and working with them, I've gotten it down to maybe 2, sometimes 3 different sites to give me everything that I need. But I always wish someday I had the bread to be able to pay for those services, because you could get anyone to build it for you. But in order to receive those stats and those live lines, there's a monthly and yearly type fees that go along with it. That's hiked up there for corporate. I'm just an individual capper. I can't compete with their output. So you got to work with that in between. But yeah, that's where I start, and figure out what's valuable to you as a stat, or something that you want to know, or something you might want to read. Because in XFL I had to use a lot of reading, because if you didn't read, you didn't get the extra bits and pieces that was going on under the XFL hub. If I just looked at the numbers, really didn't mean nothing to me, because none of them were really true. Because some of these guys, why they end up in the NFL? Because they weren't consistent, because they weren't different patterns. So the numbers wouldn't always be true. You had to watch the game physically, and you have to read the report, know who's injured, know who's not, know what happened last week and know what's going on this week. So yeah, different strokes for different folks. But thank God that the internet has it all laid out for us, and it's all up to us. If you want to invest into it and get some tools to have and some places to go get stuff, get a friend capper. Ask me, ask Dom, ask somebody in the chat. Hey man, you want to go half on this service right here? I think this interests me. To cut down the cost, and we both can have it. And if it works for you, great. If not, don't subscribe to it next year. But
Yeah.
that's it for
I
me
mean,
on that one, though.
the way I really base it on is that I know a lot of new guys. I base it more on someone new, and guys don't even know where to start. They never even heard of any of the sites that we talked about. So that's why I come up with a site like Covers, because it hits every sport. Even right now, I just popped on it just to see what's going on with the games tonight, and boom, everything's right in front of you. I think for a new, better, ESPN Covers, even Sportsbook Review SBR, it's another one good. These are all free sites. Even Team Rankings, you got to look around, but there's a pay part of Team Rankings that everything is out there in black and white if you want to pay for it. And I don't suggest anyone paying for anything when they're first starting out gambling. I'm really basing this more not on what we do. I'm basing it more on somebody that's starting out new. I will not pay for anything, because it's too advanced. Some of the stuff that you wouldn't even know what the hell you're looking at. That's really how I feel about starting out. And there's a bunch of other sites. There's one's coming up every day. I would limit what you pay for. But DJ's right, to pay for something. A lot of these sites, you could a bunch of guys, not even 2 people, a bunch of people could go on your password. You could split that subscription up a bunch of ways if you wanted to. I mean, there's a couple good paid ones that aren't that much money that I think are great. And then some are very expensive. Like Sports Insights is supposed to be great. It's $1,200 a year. For me, I don't bet enough money to invest $1,200 that I got to make up all those games just to pay for my sports betting, data. So you got to look at it that way too. How much money are you betting, and is it worth you spending all sorts of? Because you can spend a lot of money on some of these services, and I think the more advanced you are at sports betting, the more a service like that's going to help you. So as far as a novice is concerned, the reason why we called Covers the Bible is because it's the first one I ever heard of. Years and years ago, the first time someone told me, I'm like, you could learn all that stuff on the computer, has sports betting stuff. I was like astounded. And they're like, yeah, you got to go on this Covers. And I was like, wow. Like DJ said years ago, I would save newspapers, box scores, looking at box scores, and watching, like, even before ESPN was a thing. it was like the local news at night. There was always a sports show, and it was more of a guessing game back then. That's for sure. But regardless, research is key, and you need to you need to start somewhere. So I feel that's a pretty good spot to start out. MLB.com is good too. You don't have to pay for nothing. The only pay is for really to watch the games and stuff. So and that subscription even isn't expensive, and that's something that you could put out your password in a couple of different ways. But yeah, it's all good information. And listen, it'll help you out. And listen, the more you can learn, the better. And another thing about your research is following guys like us, guys that have been around for a long time. I got free plays on Twitter almost every day for the last 6 years. Of course, there's times that I don't, and there's weeks that I miss. But in general, I've been putting out free plays forever, and I'm one of many that's been doing that. And we've been doing shows forever, and we've been on different shows and different websites and stuff. And like we like to say, cap the capper. That's part of your research. Follow somebody that for a while, and listen. As far as asking questions and all that, as you guys know, we're always here at Who-Bangin Sports Talk to answer any questions, and we're hoping